Hey guys, welcome back to MEC'S vlog. So it's been a while, no videos, right? Yeah, I've just been occupied with a lot, but I'm back now like I never left. So today I'm going to be showing you how I made this moist and yummy and delicious and flavorful carrot banana bread. So stay with me and do not go nowhere. Can you see how moist that is? I'm going to show you how I made this. Now to my ingredients. And so the first ingredient on my list is my all-purpose flour. And I'm also going to be using four, should I call this medium-sized bananas? And I'm also using baking soda, baking powder, and cinnamon powder. As you can see here, I'm also going to be using milk as well. And I'm also going to be using white sugar, granulated sugar, and brown granulated sugar. I'm also using 2 eggs, vanilla extract, 1 carrot. You can use 1 big carrot, small carrot, depending on what you want to use, okay? And then my whisk, my spatula, and my measuring cups. And also I'm using my melted butter, okay? So yeah, now let's get right to the video. So I'm just going to mash these bananas together and make sure that they form, not so smooth paste or texture, but I'm just going to, I love to have chunks of banana in there. If you don't want to have chunks of banana in yours, you can as well just, blend this, okay, until it's smooth. But trust me, what's a banana bread without chunks of bananas in it? So yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing. So I'm just going to do this and come back later for the next process. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do is grate my carrots, okay? So this is the parts of the grater that I'm going to use to grate the carrots. I want 2 strands of carrots, 2 textures, okay? So I'm going to be using that part, the one that I'm showing in this video, to get the long strands of carrots, just as you can see here. And I'm also going to be using another part in this grater to get a shorter strand of and texture of carrots, okay? Yeah, so this is the longer one, which is thick. I'm going to show you the other part that I'm going to use to get a shorter lighter grated carrots, and which is this part that I'm using in this video. As you can see, you can use any part you want. It depends on what you want, okay? So you're not obligated to use exactly the parts that I used. You can use your own as well. So I'm just going to do that and show you what it looks like. So guys, the next thing I added in here was the eggs. Now at this point, I did even realize that the, that part wasn't recording, but I'm so sorry about that. So that's the only thing that I added at this point. And after adding that, I went ahead to whisk it to incorporate all of the ingredients together. And then after that is done, I'm going to show you, this is the egg, of course, that I cracked in there. So it's the 2 eggs that I used, okay? So now I'll proceed to add the salted melted butter. Now don't forget that if you're using unsalted butter, you're going to have to add a pinch of salt to the mixture. But if you're using salted butter like me, there's no need adding salt. So I'm also going to add my milk and sugar. And then I'll also mix it thoroughly until the sugar dissolves properly into this mixture, okay? Now, if you know you cannot do this way, you can as well mix your melted butter and sugar separately before adding it to the banana mixture, okay? So after doing this, I will come back to show you the next phase. So that is it for the wet ingredients. We are moving on to the dry ingredients. Now I'm using my mixing bowl, and the next thing I'm going to add in there is my flour. Okay, so I'm going to measure out the quantity of flour that I'm going to use into the mixing bowl. Now, I know you're going to see, oh, what are the measurements? Oh, we don't know the measurements you're using. Do not worry. The accurate measurements are going to be in the description box. All I need you to do right now is follow up this video, because I don't want you to miss any part when you're, recreating yours. So you're going to love the outcome, okay? So make sure to use a measuring cup and measuring spoon so you don't assume things, okay, and get the wrong measurements, okay? It's always advisable to measure accurately and properly. And now this is how to measure your flour, okay? So this is 1 cup of flour. I'm going to be using 1.5. So do not overheap your flour, okay? Just make sure that it's leveled, just as you can see here. If it's overheaped, just use your knife or spoon or whatever you have to level it out, okay? So that's exactly what I did. And then I'm going to proceed to pour that flour into the mixing bowl, and I'll proceed to add the remaining 1/2 cup into my mixing bowl as well. So I'm going to be adding the remaining 1/2 cup of flour into my mixing bowl, and yeah, I'm going to also make sure it's leveled, even though I'm not going to level it out with my knife again, but trust me, this is leveled. You can see I did that with my eyes, okay? Yeah, I measured that with my eyes, so it's leveled. So after this is done, I'm going to proceed to add the rest of the ingredients. Now the next ingredient I'm adding in here is my baking soda, cinnamon powder, and my baking powder, okay? So I'm just going to pour that in and mix thoroughly. Like I said, all the accurate measurements will be in the description box, so do not worry about measurements, okay? Just enjoy the video. And now I'm going to proceed to add my wet ingredients, which is the banana mixture that we did before earlier, into the dry ingredients, okay? And then I'm just going to use my whisk to gently move it around, okay? Move it around the mixture. You don't want to whisk this now, no. So all I'm doing here is just, gently moving the whisk, around that mixture. And after that is done, I'll set the whisk aside and use my spatula, okay? So now I'm using my spatula to fold in the mixture. So this process is called the folding process. Now you do not whisk, okay, and you do not want to over mix your batter. So all I'm doing here is folding it in just this manner, okay? Yeah, so don't over mix it. And yeah, I know some people would say, oh, you didn't sieve your flour, you didn't sieve it. I already did that, okay? I did that before storing my flour inside of my freezer. So whenever I get my flour, I usually do the sieving process before I store them in my freezer, okay? Because I store my flour in my freezer and use it whenever I want to. It makes it, last for a longer period of time without weevils and all of those things in it, okay? So the next thing I'm adding in here is my vanilla flavor. So I'm using 1 teaspoon of vanilla flavor. Now you just have to agree with me at this point that I make the most detailed video, okay? Yeah, so I'm just I just added that in, and I'm going to mix it up. Do not forget, from this stage henceforth, you're only going to be doing the folding in method with your spatula. You're not going to whisk or over mix, okay? So you're just going to be folding it in like I'm doing here, all right? It's now time to add in the grated carrots. Now at this point, if you have raisins, if you have nuts, whatever you want to use, if you have chocolate chunks, you can add it in at this point, okay? After that is done, I'm just going to fold this grated carrots into the batter, okay? And then I'll show you the consistency of the batter when I'm done. Now, this is the consistency of my batter. As you can see, it's not so runny and it's not too thick. Now, if you want a moist, very moist banana bread, make sure your batter is exactly like this. Follow all the measurements that I used in this video, and trust me, your banana bread will turn out so bomb and delicious. So I'm now going to prepare my pan for baking. So as you can see, I already cut my baking sheet or my parchment paper into the exact size of the pan, okay, the bottom of the pan. And then the next thing that I'm going to do is to butter up my pan, okay, before putting the parchment paper. So that's exactly what I'm doing here. I'm just going to butter up the pan, use my brush to spread it round all the corners of the pan, and after this is done, I'm also going to use my flour, okay, to also coat around the pan. Now, if you don't have a baking sheet or a parchment paper, don't worry, just keep that. You can just use this process as well. Use your butter around the four corners of the pan, and after that, you can now use your flour to coat it as well. So I'm going to show you all that in this video. Enjoy. It's time to pour in the batter into the pan, okay? Yeah, so after this is done, I'm just going to heat it down to make sure that, you know, everything is leveled, and it will now be ready for baking. Yeah, don't also forget that I preheated my oven, so my oven is already heating up, okay? So make sure that when you're doing all of this process, your oven is already preheating, okay? So after this is done, I'm going to pop that into my oven. Now, before I pop this into the oven, I'm just going to take a slice, one banana, and slice into two. So this is me just being creative, you know, with everything that I do. So I love creativity. Yeah, so this is exactly what I'm going to do. I'm just going to use this to place on top of the batter, you know, to give it a very nice look after, you know, it has finished baking. All right. It's now time to bake, so I'm going to pop that into my oven. I'm using my gas oven. You can use your electric oven. You can also use a pot, your stainless steel pot or your aluminum pot to bake, okay? I'm going to make a short video on how to do that. Do not use your non-stick pot, please, okay? So now we are going to let this bake for like 45 to 50 minutes, and I'll be back to check on it. And yes, guys, my carrot banana bread is ready. Now, if you want to tell when your bread is ready, you can use a fork or a skewer or a toothpick. Just dip it into that, as you can see me doing. And when it comes out clean like this, it means it's ready. So I'm just going to leave this on the wire rack to cool off. And then I will proceed to, you know, take it out of the pan Okay, that's what I'm doing here. It has cooled off already, so you can see how easy that is coming off from the pan. So that is why it's important to make sure that your pan is oiled up and prepped very well, so avoid it from sticking to the pan. Okay, so I'm just going to take out the baking sheet, the parchment paper, and then I will proceed to cut this open and show you how moist this is. You guys, can you see the texture of this carrot banana bread? Can you see how bouncy it is? Can you see how moist this bread is? Now, tell me, will you be trying out this recipe? If you would, let me know in the comment section. Did you enjoy watching this video? Of course, let me know in the comment section. So if you want to achieve something like this, make sure to use all the accurate ingredients that I would list in the description box, and trust me, you would have the most delicious and yummiest carrot banana bread ever. So yeah, this is exactly what this looks like. Thank you so much for watching. As always, subscribe to my channel, share this video, like, leave a comment. Thank you so much. I love you.